Hey guys, Sean here from Sport Travel. Today on the Coach's Commute, we're switching it up a bit and we're going to be reviewing Coach Crate's baseball subscription box. Hi there, Sean here from Sport Travel.
I'm Tyler.
And today we're going to be reviewing the Coach Crates. So Coach Crates is a subscription box, and I'm sure you guys have seen them in all different categories and niches. And, we work with a ton of coaches, right from kind of the house league, summer ball, all the way up to top tier D1 coaches. And so we're going to talk about it, open it up, see what's inside, and see what kind of value there is for the different types of coaches out there.
Okay, so take a quick look here. First off, you got great packaging. I mean, that's one of the key things when you get it, you're like, you know what, this is a legit product. That was one of the very first things we noticed when it arrived. You know what, it's an easy thing to do, and it's nice to see that Coach Crate kind of ran with that a little bit.
Yeah. So just to give you a bit of background as I open it, the way I'm looking at it right now, I'm coaching the U4 Green Machine Elite Blast Ball team. That's my daughter's blast ball. If you don't know what blast ball is, it's one step below T-ball. I just herd kids around. Sometimes they throw balls, maybe swing a bat or two. That's it.
And my background's a little bit more elite level coaching and at a higher level into the collegiate space as well. So, we have very different perspectives on both the content and the uses for some of the stuff in the subscription box.
All right, so let's check it out. So, opening it up here. Nice note to the subscriber talking about David, the founder, the CEO, what the subscription box is all about, where he's gearing it towards, what type of coaches, and what he's looking to do with it. So a great personal touch there.
And then the second piece here is just kind of outlining some of the brands that are featured within the box, give them a little bit more recognition, and kind of spotlight as, a lot of them will cut some of their margins to be part of these subscription boxes. So, that's a big part of the model and part of its success. So, making sure you're giving them that recognition. It's nice that Coach's Crate went outside of the box to kind of do that as well.
All right. So first one, pull out here, Rawlings glove lacing kit. It's fantastic. I mean, nothing worse than being out on a tournament and, busting a glove, not being able to relace it. Again, doesn't apply for my team right now. 2/3 of these kids don't have gloves. Some leave it in the field. Some leave it with their parents. But again, it's just great to have for, most teams.
And for most coaches at a higher level, every single coach should carry one of these if you're on the field. It's something that if you don't know how to do it, spend 10 minutes on YouTube, learn how. It could be the difference between your best player having a glove in the field and using your old raggedy one you carry around on a day-to-day basis. So it's a really simple thing, and it's a nice piece inside the subscription box here.
All right, next one, Skills mini bands. So some strengthening, arms, legs. I think this would be really neat for kind of a lower level team, especially a younger team who may have some, attention problems or anything like that. This is just a fun alternative. A lot of times we just want to, throw the ball, hit, and just work on some of those basic fundamentals. But again, a big part of coaching younger kids is really just getting them to listen. And, this could be a fun alternative. You could make a game out of it while actually incorporating some skill and strength work as well.
And one of the things that I see across every sport and every level of coaching, and it eats me alive when I watch it, is kids standing around at practice. It is the biggest area for improvement in coaching at any level. And these types of products are really good for in-between drills, kind of balancing out what they're there for, plus improvement, whether it's strength or mobility, giving them the ability to kind of work across some of these areas while they're standing in line. It's an easy thing to do. It takes 20 seconds of putting your band down, then running your drill exactly the same way you would any other day, except you're giving them something to do while they wait their turn to run that drill.
Very cool. Very cool. So great for all teams. Next here, line drive ball, weighted training ball. Again, Not something I'm going to use right now, but what a couple of these products are going to do is probably just encourage me to Google what is, this product used for, so that as, I start to coach at a higher level and move up, say with my kids or, get into coaching any other sort of team, I already know what that tool can be used for. So I can begin to prep and plan a practice, or if someone asks, I know what the answer is. And it's just a great, working ahead tool that I can look forward to.
Absolutely. And this product is kind of an interesting one. I mean, the core idea of this product is really to square up the ball. Solid contact versus just getting up there and taking wild swings. I mean, it's something that, in the United States, with aluminum bats being so prominent across all levels, it's sometimes harder for these kids to understand solid contact versus just hitting it somewhere on their bat. Obviously, there's still some variance in terms of how the exit velocity is on an aluminum bat. But, in Canada, you often see the older kids switch to wood bats, which there's a very, very strong reinforcement towards hitting the ball where you need to on the bat. But there's a good alternative to that to get these kids used to understanding where the sweet spots are in the barrel. And it really will give them that feedback. So it's not just about the feel, but then it's also a visual. What is my trajectory off my bat? What does that look like? That way they get used to seeing some of those things and try to execute them when they get to the game.
Awesome. The next one, some mini training balls. Again, going back to what Tyler talked about earlier, is having kids stand around. So I have a team of 8 to 10, sometimes 6, sometimes 16, depending on the night. It's summer vacation time, but I don't want the kids standing around. So I can break them off into small groups. They are younger. These small balls may be tough to hit, but again, that can be a fun game. We can turn this into 3, 4 different groups and have everyone swinging the bat very quickly and cycling through. And if a 4-year-old can start to hit some of these mini balls, D1 for sure.
Absolutely. And the wiffles are one of the most, used training tools across baseball. I mean, it's such a great way for kids to learn. It's safe. A lot of coaches will pair up kids or groups of kids where they're shagging and one kid's throwing and then one kid hitting, right? So you get multiple people involved. You can have some games in behind as the balls are hit. There's a lot of great uses for the wiffle ball. It is, for me, one of my favorite tools when it comes to hitting because it gives really, really good feedback on contact. And it also is just something that's really safe that can be used without a lot of supervision as well.
Awesome. The last one, again, tool that my coaching level, not really going to worry about, but it's a curve trainer. Again, I'm going to look at this, figure out what is it even for. So now I'm going to do some more research into, this type of training, how this tool can help. And maybe now I find, 3, 4, or 5 different drills that I can kind of pocket away for future use and just start to learn, how I can improve as a coach down the road.
Absolutely. And this again goes back to hand-eye coordination. This is really just about getting the kids looking for something in the movement of the ball. Often, young kids are just seeing fastball after fastball after fastball, and, it doesn't necessarily help them learn how to adjust. I mean, me, myself, I was a terrible curveball hitter. Sean and I actually played hardball together ourselves, and, he knows that once I see 2 strikes, it's game over. So, that's certainly something that I could have benefited from at a younger age, and, had I been exposed to that pitch a little bit more, I might have had a little more success. But, ultimately, those are some of the things that just give you a little bit of variance. And, it falls in line with some of the other tools we've seen here in the box, but it's a little bit of a wrinkle in that plan as well.
Very cool. And so last, we have a book here. This one's the only rule is it has to work. Tyler talked about it in a second. I think he's heard of it. Personally, I haven't heard of it, but I do like the idea of adding a book into each of these subscription boxes. I'm assuming they're going to be across all different levels. Some may be, personal stories, autobiographies, fiction, just to really keep you in love and maybe fall in love a little bit more with baseball and maybe expand that coaching knowledge or desire a little bit more. If I read enough about this, I just may, keep wanting to coach, which is a huge problem in youth and minor sports is, getting the right people out there and coaching and people who actually love the game rather than someone who just feels voluntold to get in there and coach.
Absolutely. And this book is a great example of learning in baseball. And I think that's the key element that needs to be included in some of these packages, especially for lower level or coaches just getting started. Learning is the key piece. If you're a coach that believes you've learned it all, you're not a real coach. And that's the reality. If you have to constantly be ahead of the curve. And the premise of this book is exactly that. The difference is it's more administrative, top-down type model. It's about a minor league team given free reins. And it's the story of how they were allowed to do whatever they want, but it just has to work. So it's a really nice read, and it's a really cool thing, as to Sean's point, to really find love in the different elements of baseball, because baseball, as we all know, is really a thinker's game. A lot of people look at it and say, oh, it's boring and slow, but once you get into the intricacies of baseball, it's quite the opposite. So it's a really good view into that, and I mean, it's certainly worth a read if you haven't read it.
Awesome. So overall, my impression of this box is it's fantastic value for what you're getting here. Individually, you're getting over $80 of value, and the subscription is $50 a month, and you can even get it a little bit cheaper if you subscribe for the year. So I think that's fantastic right off the hop. But again, like I said, I think the biggest piece for me and where my coaching level is at is just the nudge to learn a little bit more as a coach. And I'm going to get these tools and, some more information and want to do some more research and more learning on my own.
And for me, the subscription box is a really great tool. Obviously, exposure to new products, new ideas is certainly something that everyone should be chasing. And being involved with a product like this certainly gives you that opportunity. My only problem with any of these subscription boxes is really comes down to differentiating between the groups. So Sean and I are a perfect example. The levels that I coached at and the level he's coaching at now, very different. And it's very hard to really center out some of those people in a subscription base, especially early on in a product. So it would be really exciting to see where Coach Craig goes with all of this. And I think, they've got a great concept and a really good network to build off of. But, a couple things that Sean and I spent some time talking about would be add a drill, put a drill inside every box, something different outside of the box, if you will, and really kind of get into how to expand the mind a little bit, not just their product offering as well. So I think that's something, a bit of a cost-effective missed opportunity, I think.
Yeah.
And maybe it's something that no one's ever asked for. So, certainly something from a feedback standpoint, I'd love to see as a coach, because I know, planning practices is the piece of coaching that is probably the most time intensive.
Absolutely.
With the exception of the travel, obviously. But, the element of really getting out and planning a practice so that works for everybody is a hard thing to do. And I think that would be a really good opportunity to keep anybody that is a subscriber to the box engaged beyond just the product.
Yeah, and I would love that too. And obviously the drills and practice tips that are going to apply for even, high school or, 12U are going to be vastly different than what I'm looking at. But I can definitely look at, a potential drill. How can I simplify it, make it fun, make it a game for some younger kids, and just take that drill that might be included in this box and make it fun for my practices.
Absolutely. And then just so you know, we were provided with this box at no cost.
Yep, check it out. Their socials too. We'll put them up there. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. See you on the field.
Thank you. See ya. If you have a product or service that you'd love to get in front of coaches, parents, fans, whatever that may be, hit us up in the comments, email, DM. We'd love to check it out. Do a nice video review.